Okay, so yes, I talk about the start of my build of the Yokomo BD10, as well as a few other tools that I needed to complete the first few steps of this build. Okay, so I'll catch you after the intro. How's it going, everybody? Phoebus Byron here, Leisure Geek, and welcome to my channel. Yeah, as I said in the intro, I'm going to talk about my build of the Yokomo BD10, the first few steps, and actually the first few section bags that are part of this kit. A couple things just want to talk about off the bat. I'm pretty much happy the way Yokomo separated all the parts in individual bags, numbered them 1 through, I don't know how many bags to be honest with you, but I've done basically bags numbers 1, 2, and 3. And I'll talk about those parts soon here. But also, quick thing, yeah, I thought it was going to be easy, and it was a little tougher than I thought it would be. So it's been a while, and yeah, so here are my thoughts. Let me start with bag number 1, and that is what they call the solid axle. It's pretty much what they call a spool. I've also known it as a spool. And here's the piece here. Get that in focus. So this was actually in bag number 1. Pretty straightforward, no extra tools needed, and yeah, very simple to put together. No issues. As you can see, it's a pretty tiny piece, pretty tiny assembly here. But in bag number 2, which I'm going to talk about now, is the rear differential. This part actually kind of threw me for a loop, and I had to actually disassemble and reassemble it a couple times just to make sure that the assembly wasn't leaking any oil. So this is the rear differential right here. I'll probably give you another clip of that. But anyway, for this build, for this assembly, two things, two tools that I actually had to use to help me build this assembly. First, I did also use a adjustable wrench just to hold down the bottom of the assembly. You can see here, this is the drive hub down here. So I used a simple adjustable wrench just to hold it down onto the table. That way, as I'm filling the oil into the assembly, it wouldn't fall over and oil spilling out. Second, as you'll see, I also use something that will help most of you in your build if you're dealing with greases and oils, is just blue. Well, it doesn't have to be blue, but I'm using shop towels. These are just simple disposable shop towels you can get at your local hardware store or automotive store. So again, just to help catch and deal with oils and greases, etc. And the other tool that I did need, and I know it specifies it in the assembly manual, a set of needle nose pliers, but for this specific build, I actually used a smaller set of needle nose pliers that pretty much look like this. And get that in focus there, hopefully. And the reason that was done is because during the assembly and in one of the steps, you have to put a very tiny pin into in the middle of the, I can say, hub of the assembly, and slip that pin through the let me see here. Yeah, slip the pin through the diff drive cup, which basically holds everything in place. So there's a pin that goes inside and holds this drive cup in place and does not move it back and forth. Hopefully get that here. So a very small pair, a thinner pair of needle nose pliers definitely will help. Well, for you, whoever's building this Yokomo BD10, but definitely helped for me to get that part done. And another thing that I didn't have, and I've seen also on a Yokomo website, one of their pro drivers mentions about, this is not a tool that I added or used, but it was something I wish I had, and I'll try to figure out my way around it, but they actually measured out how much oil went into the differential assembly. I just used as a reference, and as it was mentioned in the assembly manual, just to cover the cross pin. And as soon as that was pretty much covered with the oil, I called it a day and put everything back. Well, not everything back, but I put in the top piece here, which is the pulley, and it basically just clamps on down. The one thing, again, as I mentioned, I did disassemble and reassemble it a couple times. One, I didn't feel that the pulley section of it was seating down to get a good seal. I did see some oil leak out, so disassemble it, tried it again, and yeah, overnight didn't see any oil spill out. So I think I got it pretty nice and sealed there. So yeah, this assembly was, it was a tough one, but I just wanted to make sure I got it all right, and at the end of the day, no oil coming out of the diff. The next bag number 3, though it was simple, I did need an extra tool for it, and I will actually use the tool in my toolbox in case I do change the spur gear. So this was in bag number 3. It's pretty much the drive spur gear assembly. It's going to be at the center of the vehicle, and on the top here, to hold down the assembly or to keep everything together, there's actually a small, the bearing kind of slipped out here. There's actually a small C-clip that in the instructions, it just clamps down and holds everything together. You got a couple mating pieces, and the C-clip keeps the two parts from separating. But the C-clip is very tiny, and at some point you will, or at some point I may want to change the type of spur gear that's on here. And to get that C-clip on there, I did need a very tiny flathead screw to just pry it off. It's not something you can do simply with, let's say, the needle nose pliers or just a flathead screw, a Phillips screw, not Phillips, but a flathead screwdriver, because you don't want to scratch up the parts. So I use a tiny flathead, and that's something I'm going to keep in my toolbox while I'm at the track, or anytime I decide to do some maintenance on the vehicle or change the spur gear. So yeah, just a few extra tools that's not really mentioned in the manual, in the assembly manual, and it helped me with the build. And these are parts or types of tools I will definitely keep around with me just in case having issues, do maintenance, and even when I'm at the track. So yeah, tough build, tiny parts, but in the end I got bags 1, 2, and 3 completed. I have a few more bags to go. I'm actually excited now to see some of these parts, obviously the parts being put together. The next few steps, even though there are a lot of parts, doesn't seem as complicated, especially I'm not going to be dealing with greases or oils. I am kind of curious about when I get to the shocks part, but yeah, Yokomo BD10 started the build, and just because there's some tools that they do recommend, there are going to be a lot more tools that will be helpful, not only for most of the build, but also when, again, doing maintenance or at the track. So yeah, the list of tools is starting to grow again. But all right, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video to give you more of an update on my hobby here. 1/10 scale, touring car, RCs, and a little bit of racing, hopefully, especially this spring and summer. Okay, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. And yeah, I guess the simple closing is, if you like the content that I just provided, you want to see more, hit the subscribe button down below. Also hit the like button. There you go. If you like the content, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. And then if you want to go further, want to get notified on each and every video I do put up here, there's also the notification bell. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Appreciate it. Take care.